Hello and welcome to the Celtic Down Under podcast. I'm your host, Jarrod, and joining me tonight are Liam and Sean. How are you, Sean?
Yep, going pretty well. Long day at work, but got a PD tomorrow, so no kids coming in. Just have a fun day learning about child protection. Woo, buzz.
And how are you, Liam?
Aye, all good up here. Getting warmer. It's close to 30 degrees today, so I'm enjoying a nice wee cold beer as I talk to you tonight, lads.
Lovely. Nothing wrong with that at all. So what we'll do is start off with the usual shout. If you haven't subscribed already to the Celtic Down Under podcast, please do so. We appreciate your support. Now, I told you off air, Sean, Scotland versus Czech Republic. I started watching the game. I fell asleep. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to defer on this whole topic and review of that game to both you, Sean and Liam. So, Sean, if you want to start off with a bit of a rundown on the game, what happened, and then Liam just jump in, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, and the wonders of, excuse me, the mystery of the modern age. I was keeping my dad, who was working in Scotland, and my brother, who was at a wedding in Scotland, up to date on events happening in Scotland from Australia. In a kind of weird twist of how modern technology and time zones work. The first thing that jumped out to me was, Tierney out, gutted. But another thing that jumped out was why Declan Gallagher was not included in the 23-man squad. I couldn't quite figure that one out. Particularly since there was two goalkeepers on the bench. That one didn't really make sense to me. Because you can only name 12 subs, so you have to leave 3 people out. Tierney's injured, John Fleck's got COVID, but why would you have 2 goalkeepers and leave Declan Gallagher out? I don't know. Apart from that, Christie up front, I thought was a poor decision as well, and I really have no love for Liam Cooper in any way. I would rather have Declan Gallagher. Players that played well, Hanley had a good game, McGinn had a good game. When Adams and Forrest came on, they made a difference. I thought McTominay was a bit wasted, especially when he got put to right back, because he was the only person that looked likely at sometimes. And we actually played well. Yeah, we played well. We could have defended a bit better. Robertson was great as well. But yeah, look, we maybe had the edge in terms of chances, but when you're chasing a game, you'd expect to have that edge. And then, honestly, it was a fairly even game at 0-0. So, yeah. David Marshall, though, internet memes have been savage, and rightly so. He was like pissing distance off the centre circle, not the centre spot, the centre circle, when Jack Hendry loses possession. It was so disappointing, even though that's probably one of the better performances Scotland have put in under Steve Clarke. It was just really a disappointing result, and it just came down to having that quality up front. Dykes had 2 better chances that were better than Schick's chances that he scored, and that's the difference at this level. So, bit of a letdown, even though we played well.
Yeah, I would say that I don't think I've ever seen a Scotland game where we have created so many chances and not scored. I cannot remember a game where we have had so much possession and created so many chances. I mean, the thing is, obviously, Schick will get man of the match because he scored 2 goals, one of which may well end up being the goal of the tournament. And yet, I think, if not for him, you could have made a case for the Czech goalie being man of the match. He made 2 or 3 absolutely world-class saves and 3 or 4 pretty decent ones as well. And we squandered a hell of a lot of chances as well. On a side note, from a journalism point of view, I'm very disappointed that none of the newspapers went with Scotland in the Schick as their headline the next day,
Yeah, there was a lot of rich veins to mine with puns with Czech and Schick.
Aye. stupid me, an hour before the game, I said, right, boys, time to bounce some Czechs. And, we were the ones that got bounced in the end.
Your fault, Liam.
Yep, all my fault.
The crowd were pretty noisy for 12,000. 12,000 spread out people. They made a good noise.
You got to wonder what kind of effect that has on even a small number of fans like that when you've been playing in front of essentially nobody for 18 months. What kind of effect did that have on both teams? I think certainly in the first 10 minutes, and although it's a cliche to talk about it, the anthem, I don't think I've ever seen a Scotland team that fired up, probably since the last time we were at a World Cup. They were all at a man belting out the anthem, and they were totally ready for it. You know?
Well, yeah. Like you see, Robertson was telling everyone to calm down after 20 minutes, like because there was that kind of panic and people doing stupid shit, like not excluding David Marshall being almost in that opposition half, to the point where Schick noticed it and then planned to do that. You know, it wasn't like he did it in the spur of the moment. He planned it at half time. Stephen O'Donnell was absolutely stinking, and like Steve Clark's defended him, but like I don't know what was worse, the time where he just took a shit touch and let the ball run out of play, or when he blocked Ryan Christie's run into the box. Like Christie takes out two Czech Republic defenders and then runs straight into Stephen O'Donnell because Stephen O'Donnell's just standing in his way. And then Stephen O'Donnell's giving it out to him as if Ryan Christie's done something wrong. So what the flip are you doing, Stephen O'Donnell?
O'Donnell was, I think, found out at that level. I honestly can't fault his effort. I can't fault his industry, but he's just not a player of that level. And I am not going to jump on David Marshall too harshly because, okay, one, bias, because I was a goalkeeper myself for, when the limited times I played football. And also, were it not for him, we wouldn't even be here in the first place. So I think everybody just needs to remember that. It was Marshall that got us here in the first place, that allowed us to be in a position to lose to the Czech Republic.
I've got a couple of things to jump in there quickly to say about Marshall. So even though he was so far out of position, he should have been organising his defence, and Hendry shouldn't have been trying to have that shot. He should have been pushing the ball out wide because there was the overlap going on. So that's where the mistake is, because as soon as he took that shot, there was no defender there, so it was a massive gap. So that is a communication breakdown. Whether that's the goalkeeper, it's a rush of blood for Hendry, or what the goal is, that's the root cause of the issue. The wrong option was taken. But talking about O'Donnell, it's clearly the wrong choice for the game. Should it have been Patterson or should it have been Forrest in that spot, do you guys reckon?
In hindsight, Forrest. Like, honestly, in the moment, I didn't think anything of it. I was like, yeah, probably makes sense, even O'Donnell. And, we've talked about it before. I don't rate Nathan Patterson very much. Or certainly, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't rate Nathan Patterson to the same level everyone else seems to do. Well, I was okay with the decision beforehand. But then in hindsight, it should have been Forrest, because like Stephen O'Donnell did piss all defending, and when Forrest came on, he made a difference. And yeah, 100% agree with what you're saying about the goal. It was just pure rush of the blood to the head. Like, the guy scored a goal against the Netherlands, and then he's hit the bar against the Czech Republic. His name's in the headlights and his dreams at that moment. And Stephen O'Donnell, I mean, you could argue Stephen O'Donnell maybe should have read that and tucked in, but I think that's probably harsh on O'Donnell. I think Hendry is more at fault there than O'Donnell and for that decision.
It was a space cadet move. There you go.
Yeah, exactly. Space cadet. And Lennon called him out before the game. Like, Lennon called out Hendry before the game. Said he's concentration lapses and stuff like that. Getting out of position. That's what Lennon actually called it before the game.
The thing to remember is, though, that playing at a championship is a level that none of these players have played at before. And that is something that we do need to bear in mind. I mean, we're all... I was I genuinely contemplated phoning in sick for work on Tuesday. I was that fucking gutted at the result. I didn't, I went in and did my job, but I didn't want to go in and face, 100 Japanese kids being like, "Oh, how did Scotland get on?" I'm like, "How do you think?" No.
Amy McDonald's tweet was the best on that one. Did you see
Oh
that?
yeah, aye. Aye, she nailed it.
Just glad that the kids at school are getting allowed to watch the game, because this is the sort of crushing disappointment that will set you up for life.
There was a meme of Robertson walking off with his kid in his hand, and it's like, yes, son, or whatever it was. I know how it feels, or something like that as well.
I quite liked what they did on Radio Scotland. Tam Cowan and Stuart Cosgrove, they finished their post-match show with "Blame It on the Boogie" by the Jackson 5. I thought that was quite quite good.
It's very clever.
How long have they been thinking of that?
Yeah, I was going to say, he's
obviously been sitting on that one for a while.
Yeah. I listened to the BBC post-match, and they were going on. The point they were really, really hanging their hats on was that they thought Stuart Armstrong was having a great game and shouldn't have came off. And I was like, honestly, I didn't see what Armstrong was doing. I didn't see what he was contributing to the game. And like, they've kind of dropped that narrative since then. So I don't know if somebody's watched it back and said to them, like, "What are you talking about, guys? Like, Armstrong was doing nothing." Because I didn't see what he was contributing.
There's some kind of really weird analysis going on with the BBC and how they come up with their player ratings, because, right, this isn't just me saying let's have a go at a Hun here, right? But I watched the Russia-Finland game last night. Really good game of football with not much skill, but entertaining end-to-end stuff. And the BBC had Kamara rated as Finland's highest player. No, I don't even remember him touching the ball.
It's the fans' ratings. Is
that what it is? Right, yeah, so it's all just Huns that have voted for Kamara then?
Exactly, yes.
Right, because I thought he was anonymous. He didn't have a bad game, but he didn't have a particularly good game either, No.
It's 100% fans' ratings. You go in second half at some point and you give every player a 1 to 10. So like, people will be on like 1 minute in, like giving players the Huns 10 and stuff like that. Celtic players are 1.
So Forrest could have scored a hat trick on Monday and still only get a 6 probably. Yeah.
It does persistently happen on the BBC ratings, yeah.
Fucking pathetic.
What do you expect from the babe?
Aye.
Oh, did you hear this morning's breakfast show?
No, I didn't.
They were having the pundits choose some songs that they could use to inspire Scotland, and Kenny McIntyre chose "Simply the Best."
He would.
And Tom English chose some absolutely, completely random Irish song that I've never heard before. And I don't know the girl's name that was doing the co-hosting, but she, Jen Beattie, maybe, I'm not sure, but she chose the Celtic song that they play when we score a goal. Just can't get enough. That's what she chose. But she was saying that she only chose it to get up Kenny McIntyre. But she actually said that. She said, "I'd picked a better song than this, but just to get it, she didn't say get it up here, but just to balance out your choice, Kenny, I've gone with this one."
Oh God. I'd probably choose A Kind of Magic by Queen, because that's what we're going to need if we're going to make the second round. Oh dear. I mean, let's be positive though, right? We knew that if we were going to win this tournament, we're going to have to beat England at some point. So it turns out we have to beat them tomorrow. Let's just do it.
And if we do, you can say, "Fuck me, get on the scooter."
I know what's going to happen. We're going to beat England tomorrow, then we're going to go out because we'll fucking lose to Croatia with a last-minute penalty. That is the Scottish way to do it.
It's true. Hey, look, the last Euros, Portugal didn't win a game in their group and then won the tournament.
It can happen. Unlikely, but it can happen.
So there's hope. You're saying there's hope.
Yeah. So you're telling me there's a chance. Ace Ventura. No, sorry, that's not Ace Ventura. That's Dumb and Dumber. Yeah.
Wait. All right. Anything else to talk about on the game, boys, or you want to jump on to the next thing?
I've seen on social media already that Scotland fans are tearing up London, so that's good. Hopefully
causing millions of pounds worth of improvements.
Yeah. No, sorry, I don't mean literally causing damage. I mean like just singing and drinking and dancing in the streets.
Good. Let them enjoy it.
What culture really is. Lovely.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I hope if they come across some English fans, they'll take a knee.
Yeah, can I just say on that point, actually, see if we do, as I sadly fully expect, absolutely horsed by England tomorrow. I hope every goal scorer for England is black, just to piss off those bastards who are booing the taking of the knee.
I watched the England-Croatia game, and I didn't think either team looked particularly intimidating. Maybe they cancelled each other out, I don't know. But I didn't really see much to be intimidated by.
Well, there's a wee quick question for you guys, right? Now, I'll just say this. Having watched all the teams in the tournament at least once now, England are ranked as the favourites to win the tournament according to the British bookies. But we all know that's a complete nonsense, right?
Yeah, not over here. Yeah, that's betting trend.
Aye. But I reckon France, Belgium, Italy, Holland, possibly Ukraine, would all beat England if they played them tomorrow. Portugal as well.
Ukraine?
Ukraine showed enough against Holland to show me they can score goals, and England's defence looked shaky, even when Croatia offered almost nothing in attack.
I put my money on Italy. I put $20 on Italy.
Aye, they do look like the form team. And
Italy and France are the two main ones for me.
Aye.
What are Italy like 28 games unbeaten? Something like that? 10 wins in a row? I can't remember the actual numbers, but something like that.
The real question of Euros at the moment is, why haven't we seen Joachim Low scratching and sniffing yet? That's the real cutting edge, straight to the point. Why hasn't that happened yet?
I think he knows about it, and he's going to wind us all up. He's going to like edge his hand closer, and then he'll go, oh, and pull it away. Like
or he'll go there, and then he'll just wave to the crowd or something.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
The old classic fake handshake and push your hair back. Oh
God.
Fooled you.
Yep. It's time for Sean's quiz.
Right.
Okay. Just a quick one to link us in to the main event, Celtic. Okay. Can you name all the currently listed Celtic players who have a number between 1 and 11? And the trick to this is that if you get one wrong, you're out. So it's take turns, see how many you can name. And
1, Barkas.
Okay, Barkas. Liam.
Ajeti, 10.
Correct.
Bolingoli. No, hang on. Taylor, 3.
Oh, will we give him it, judges?
No, I'm out.
No, Taylor is right. But
Taylor is 3. I was just thinking, I just was reading that he's back in the club at the moment.
Yeah, Taylor's 3.
I mean, I was going to say Brown, but he's not there anymore.
2 more, that's it if my memory's right.
It depends if you count one that's returning from loan.
Yeah.
Right, it was Hendry, no, number 2?
He's number 4, but yeah, he's
number 4, right, aye, okay.
He's one of them.
He just played like a number 2 on Monday.
Near Biton.
Number 6, near Biton. One more.
Lee Griffiths, number 9.
Correct. You guys got them all. Good job.
Aye.
So, I was thinking about this the other day because when Scotland played the last friendly against Albania, the team was, other than one player, was the numbers 1 through 11. And I was wondering what the Celtic team would be 1 through 11. And then I realised it would basically be a 5-a-side team. Because we've got 5, 7, 8, and 11 currently vacant. And 7 will obviously stay vacant.
And you'd think no one would take 8 this season coming up in the same way Liverpool kept their 8 free for a couple of seasons after Jarrod left. You didn't think anyone would want to take Bruni's number straight away.
Yeah. And nobody's getting 11 unless they come in for big money, I would say.
Yeah.
Number 5's up for grabs, though. Sviatchenko.
Who wants... that actually ties into one of our next things. So,
yeah.
Well, Celtic transfer rumours. I've got 4 names there. You just touched on one there. Eric Sviatchenko to come back to Celtic. Yes or no? And why?
Short answer, yes. And look, in the season, the last season or the 2 seasons we had him, I think it was 2. My opinion was I was fine with him being in the team, but he was kind of not my first choice. And I was so spoiled at the time by the team that I was considering to be bang average. But after that season we've just sat through, he would go back in the team. You would have him ahead of, you would partner him with Ajer or Julian or whatever. Like he would be, I think Ajer and Julian would still be your first 2, but then Sviatchenko would be the 3rd one. And if Ajer's leaving, he's not as good as Ajer, but I'd say he's an affordable replacement. And the guy knows what he's up. He knows the script. Has he not got a Scottish missus as well?
No, his missus played for us when she was over here last time.
Ah, that's what it was.
But for me, he's better than Bitton at centre back. So running the qualifiers. So yeah, I'll throw to you, Liam. Before
it's a yes from me. I think pairing him with either Ajer or Julian next season would be a good, because Ajer and Julian bring the class. Sviatchenko brings the dig and the grit and the leadership. Because he was running the show at Midtjylland last season and the season before when they won the championship. And he's a leader, and that's exactly what Celtic need, especially with Scott Brown gone now.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. For me, he's a yes. I didn't think he should have left anyway when he did last time around. The thing I like about him is he's a solid 7 out of 10 every game. You know what you're going to get at centre back, and you kind of need a no-frill centre back there. So I actually didn't want him to leave in the first place, but the fact that we're linked with him, get him back in, but then we still need another centre back to be signed anyway.
Or 2.
Depending
if
on
if Ajer leaves, yeah.
Yep. He'd be coming in as Jose's replacement / Duffy's replacement.
Right, so who's our next potential transfer target?
Sunderland striker Charlie Wyke.
Who?
Got 31 goals for them last year in League One. Before that, he's basically hasn't scored higher than 12 goals in any season in his career before this season just gone, and he's 28 years old. I'll go me. No. Yes, he's a big target man, but I don't want us to get caught out signing one of these guys who's had that. He's a one-season wonder.
Yeah, no for me. No more lower league English mediocrity, please. I think we need to move away from that signing model. We're not going to get another Gary Hooper no matter how hard we try.
I'm saying no, and I'm also going to piss on the story because the only place I've actually seen it come up is in these clickbait shite websites. You're click here to see which League One star Celtic are linked with. So somebody's basically went, this guy's scoring goals in League One. He's a free agent. Let's just link him with Celtic and we'll get a ton of clicks. And we don't put his name in the title. So you have to click on our website to see what it... Clickbait shite. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, you mean like that clickbait shite what website I used to write for that hasn't paid me for 6 months? Aye.
Yeah, one I pre-warned you about.
You did warn me about that one, to be fair, aye. Yes. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm saying this is not a story and I wouldn't want them anyway.
No. Next,
Aaron Moy. Australian midfielder currently playing at Shanghai Port in China. Formerly of St Mirren, Melbourne City over here, Brighton and Huddersfield in the EPL.
Depends how much we're going to be paying because he's a good player. There's no way about it. He's a great player. But we're going to have no resale value whatsoever. So, yeah, he could win us the league this year if we sign him, but also bear in mind that it's money that we're not going to see again on the other end of his tenure.
I know nothing about the guy, I'll be honest. But if the new manager thinks he's worth it, I say you've got to put faith in the new manager and let him sign players that he knows. So if Ange thinks the guy's good enough for Celtic, that's good enough for me.
For me, it's 1 minute I'm saying yes, 1 minute I'm saying no. And the reason is what Liam just said. The reason I'm saying yes is if Ange wants him, then Ange should get him because he knows how he works. And if Ange can get a player in the spine of players that he wants to have worked with him before, it'll make his implementing how he wants us to play a lot easier and happen quicker. However, Moy's an attacking midfielder. So if we're going to have Rogic and Moy, those two didn't play too well together for Australia. So if you're going to have Rogic and Moy, then you're going to have Christie until he leaves, and you're going to have Turnbull in that number 10 role. It's too many of the same sort of player. So
Christie can rot.
Yeah, but I'm still saying, even if that's the case, I'd rather give, young Henderson the third string and number 10 role and, not bring Moy in, because a guy who's signed, we'll touch on next, was Liam Shaw. He's more the sort of defensive midfielder that we need rather than bringing in another attacking midfielder in Moy when we've already got 3 options at the club.
Aye, and I think you could see Rogic hopefully revitalised quite a bit by having a manager who he's had a good relationship with in the past coming into the club.
I also personally think Moy is better than all of those names that you mentioned. So if the target this year is to win the league back, first time of asking, and get in the Champions League automatic next year, then I think it's a good signing.
Okay.
But only because I think he's better than all those names you said. Christie, Rogic, Henderson. I think he's better than all of them.
He's better than all of them. I'll say that. I'll agree with you on that front. But I'm just thinking about it from purely on a player basis. Yeah, he would be. But if you've already got people at your club who are there, if you're going to bring him in, great, sign him. But then what are you going to do with the others? It's going to be an exodus?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, Christie's going anyway. Who knows about Rogic and Henderson? But I'm just saying, if the goal is to win the league back first time, then that's the signing you need. That sort of signing.
So to use that then, the next one that we wanted to talk about, if we're going to spend whatever that amount of money is on Moy for a position we're already stocked in, I would rather invest that money into Matt Ryan as a goalkeeper so we don't have to play Barkas.
I would rather see us try and rejuvenate Barkas. But that, again, that's the manager's call. If he comes in and sees that Barkas still doesn't have it, then need to make that sacrifice and just bring in a better goalkeeper.
I rate Matt Ryan very highly, so I'm gonna say use the same logic I used with Moy. The only thing I would add is with Matt Ryan being, as far as I know, the same age as Moy, as a goalkeeper, he actually does have sell-on value. If we do pay something, I don't think it would be an appreciation on his value, but it would not be zero by the time we've got what we want out of him. And I don't rate him as highly as Fraser Foster, but I do think he's almost at the same level. I think he's very good.
The difference is though Fraser Forster wouldn't be Ange's sort of goalkeeper, because Ange likes he's got keepers to be able to play with the ball at their feet. So it's different sort of keepers for different managers, in the same way that when Rodgers come in, he went and signed Doris de Vries because he wanted a ball-playing goalkeeper. And look how that one worked. But Matt Ryan is probably 5-10 times the player de Vries was. And if you could pick him up for £3 to £5 million, which is a rumoured number because he's got a year left on his deal, I'd say do it. And then, put Hazard out on loan for a year and put and either sell Barkas and keep Bain, or you get rid of Bain and you keep Barkas as a backup.
Well, yeah, look, you're talking about less money than we paid for Barkas, and they don't even they're not comparable to each other in terms of quality, I don't think.
Yep. All right, next player who has actually arrived, Liam Shaw. What's your take? Did you see the intro video he had?
Yeah. I'm not going to get excited. Like, what? I don't know. I don't know what you want me to say. Like,
I was just saying, did you see it? Is he one of those players that, were similar to the way with O'Connor and all them when they came in a few years back? It was like, oh, let's get excited about him, and then they didn't get a chance. Or do you think he'll actually get a chance in the squad this year? No,
look, I'm 100% chucking him in the box with Leo O'Connor, Luca Connell, Kundai Benyu, all of those players. Like, get in that box, and you can stay in there until you prove otherwise. Until you prove that you are Moussa Dembele or Jeremy Frimpong, you're in the box with all the rest.
The only counter argument I'll offer to that is that Neil Lennon as a manager was notoriously resistant to bringing in younger players that were untested. Ange, from what I've seen of him at Yokohama, is not afraid to chuck in young talent if he thinks they've got it. Which brings me to a player I'm going to bring up in a minute once Jarrod's finished going through his list.
I'm done with my list, so over to you then.
Sorry, just before you move on, I don't necessarily agree with what you're saying there.
Okay, sure.
Lennon gave Forrest his debut, not McGregor, that was under Dela, but like Jack Aitchison, first game under Lennon.
Right.
And, like, what's he done since then? Do you know, like...
I was thinking more in his second spell.
Stephen Welsh. Yeah.
Okay.
Connor Hazard. Like, these players probably wouldn't have got anywhere near the team in other years. Do you know what I mean? I get that we're in a desperate situation.
You get Turnbull sat there for half a season not getting a game because...
I know.
So, there you go.
Yeah.
There's no consistency there with Lenny and the way he did it. Welsh only got thrown in there because we're desperate for centre-backs.
Yeah.
So, I agree more with Liam on that one.
Look, I just think that after some time, managers just develop favourites, and I don't think it's an anti-youth thing. I think it's just these are my boys, and you have to do something pretty shit hot to overcome them. I think it's something every manager would suffer from.
Yeah, I think that's a fair comment. So I'm going to throw a name at you here, guys. Watched Japan the other night playing against Kyrgyzstan. Now, to be fair, I reckon I could have scored against Kyrgyzstan. They were absolutely rank rotten. But Japan won 5-1, and a young Yokohama striker scored a hat trick by the name of Ado Onaiwu.
Yes.
And in the run-up to the game, and after the game, he made a point of mentioning our new manager and what a great influence he's been on his career and giving him the confidence to finally make his international debut. This boy has pace, he has ability. He reminded me a little bit of Georgios Samaras, actually, in the way that he plays. I think he's the type of player that might frustrate you now and again, but when he's on his game, he's going to be tough to keep up with. And he's got that little bit of physical dig with him as well, because he's actually half Nigerian. So, I think that's a boy that clearly believes in our manager. Our manager believes in him. We need at least one new striker. To me, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I'll admit to you, like, before this name came out in the media, when we had Ange announced, or not before we announced him, like when it was like all but confirmed, was the first thing I did was I started going through the team sheets from recent Yokohama Marinos games, to basically looking at the ages and contributions and appearances of players to see, like, okay, who's he going to want to bring with him? And that was one name that jumped out at me because of his purely because of his goals, assists, and age profile. I was like, yep, that seems like another one that we might be getting. There was a couple of more, but most of the players.
The names here.
Yep.
The other two names are Ao Tanaka and Kaoru Mitoma, which are both playing for the Japanese Olympic team.
Right, Mitoma's the defender, right?
One's a winger and one's a defensive midfielder who can play some centre.
Aye, the boy that can play centre back. If it's Mitoma, if it's one I'm thinking of, he's good.
How was that front tail players?
He's going to go to a big European club. It might not be Celtic, but he is going to move to Europe. He's one of the guys that's ready to make the step up from the J League.
Yeah, I guess
Matoma's a winger who scored 10 goals and 3 assists in 21 appearances last year. Tanaka is a central midfielder.
Tanaka's the one I'm thinking of.
Scoring once, 5 assists, and can play at centre back.
I got them mixed up. It's Tanaka is the one that we should be after.
Yes, sorry, the point I guess I was building up to was these stories are just as likely made up by someone like me who just looked at the recent team sheets of Marinos and went, this player fits the profile. Because, like when you look at the fact they've got your boy Elber up front, I'm like, oh, yeah, they've got a Brazilian striker. That sounds about right. And then I look at his age, 29. I'm like, nah, that's not a Celtic signing there. And then, all the Japanese and I was really focusing on the Brazilian players they've got. And Marcos Jr. was the only one that I really thought fit the age profile. So I think that's one you might see linked with in the near future as well. The rest of them are kind of on the, if I remember correctly, not quite in the eye-catching in terms of stats or age.
Without being disrespectful, most Brazilian players that play in the J League end up there because they couldn't get a move to Europe. That's the reality of it. If they can't get a move to a European club, they go to the J League because it's not quite as good money, but it's similar.
Yeah, you might be right. I'm just, I guess all I'm saying is these stories, kind of whether they have truth or not, have the same extent of imagination as I do when we get linked with the manager.
Yeah. Well, I'll be interested to see if any of the tabloids link on Iwu with a move to Celtic in the next couple of days, because I actually wrote that story for a Japanese website on Wednesday after the Kyrgyzstan game, and I hadn't seen him linked to a Celtic before that. I simply wrote a story about his comments about Postecoglou and about the fact that he fits Celtic's profile. Let's see if any of the Scottish tabloids try and steal my work. I bet they probably will.
I saw that him linked with would have been around a similar time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so maybe someone's nicking your work, Liam.
Would not be the first time. Anyhow.
All right, next topic. SPFL fixtures are released, and our Champions League draw round one opponent is FC Midtjylland. I said it better before, but anyway. So I've got the whole fixture list here of what we've got between now and the first batch of fixtures. So start off on the 7th of July at a friendly against Sheffield Wednesday. Then on the 10th against Charlton Athletic. Bristol City on the 14th of July. Preston North End 17th of July. Then our Champions League qualifier at home on the 20th. West Ham on the 24th at home. And then Champions League qualifier away on the 28th. So that's before we even get into the league season. So at that point there, what do you guys think of the first Champions League round of qualifiers? Do you give us much of a chance? Throw to you, Sean.
If we can sign Sviatchenko, then we might have a chance. But last year, Midtjylland had some pretty good results. They knocked out Slavia Prague in the Champions League qualifying. The same Slavia Prague that spanked Sevco and made it to the semi-finals of the Europa League. So they're clearly no mugs. They also beat Young Boys and Ludogorets in qualifying as well. They didn't do so well in their group, but they were up against Liverpool, Atalanta, and Ajax. So to be fair, getting 2 points out of that group is actually, I think, an impressive achievement, to be honest. They got a draw in Italy against Atalanta, and they drew at home with Liverpool. Apart from Sviatchenko, not too many names really jump out at me from their team list. Paulinho, Brazilian defender, is the only one that really sticks in my mind, to be honest. Has anyone else heard of any of the other players?
Yeah, there's been talk of people saying, oh, what would Ange know about them? How would he know about Shevchenko, right? And what a lot of people don't realise is Mobile is an Australian winger who plays for Midtjylland, plays for him. So there's an Australian connection there as well. So,
right, okay.
So he played 25 games for him last year. So he's that's actually his age, wrong column. Yeah, but he's
43 games I'm seeing.
Yeah, no, I looked at the wrong column. But yeah, he's decent player. So I think Andrew would know a bit about him off the back of that. But at the same time, he's pretty much the only other one of their players that I'm aware of.
But yeah, look, great results last year. Hopefully their squad gets gouged. I think the other teams we could have got are harder, at least in terms of reputation. So, the only thing I would have, like, if you're looking at the three teams we could have got, I'd have picked Midtjylland. The only thing I would have changed would be I'd prefer to have the second leg at home.
One for the Kiwis. Anyone listening over in New Zealand, team we're playing, one of your guys, Winston Reid, used to play for him. So there's a tie-in to the guys across the ditch.
The sad reality of this draw is that we looked at it and we thought, yes, Midtjylland, that's the best draw we could have got. They have almost certainly looked at it and thought, yes, Celtic, that's the best draw we could have got.
Yeah, fair.
We are in a very weakened state right now, and it's going to take time for us to get back. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope that we'll look back on this in a year's time and see that I was talking as much shite as I was at the start of last season. And we'll say, I was wrong. But at the moment, I think Champions League's a write-off. If we can get into the Europa group stages this year, we'll be doing well.
Agree with you. That's the key thing. But realistically, if we can get in the Europa League, great. And then focus on that and winning our league. They're the two priorities.
Europa's our level at the moment. Let's be realistic in a European context.
If we beat Midtjylland over two legs, then we're guaranteed Europa. That's my understanding of it.
Yep. Right. Great. That's what I heard as well.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right. Talking about the league fixtures. So, first 11 games, we have Hearts away, Dundee at home, St Mirren at home, Rangers away, Ross County at home, Livingston away, Dundee United at home, Aberdeen away, Motherwell away, St Johnstone at home, Hibs away. So, all the teams you'd probably pre-season expect to make up your top six, come the split, we play them all away in the first round of the fixtures.
Yeah.
Bit of a tough intro to life in Scotland for Ange, but in my opinion, I think it's good because by the time we've got through that, we get to play all them twice at home after the back of that. So, yeah, I'll look for a silver lining here. I'm not too worried by it. I'd rather get them over and done with early in the season.
Yeah, my concern is we might still be psychologically damaged from the season just gone, and so if we fall a couple of points behind with these hard runs of fixtures, then when the easy fixtures come around, we might struggle to make it back up due to that kind of psychological barrier. But like the first three games are very winnable games, and then we go to Ibrox.
Yeah, I was looking at it going, if your Hearts, Dundee, St Mirren, all winnable, Rangers at Ibrox, and then Ross County at home, if that first 5 games, I'd be hoping to win at Ibrox, but if we get a draw there, if you can pick up 13 points straight away, that's a great start.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm going to make a bold prediction here, guys. If we win those first 5 games, we're going to win the league.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking back to when Martin O'Neill came into Celtic, which was the last time we had a really major rebuild on the same level that I think we're going to have this season. August 28th, 2000, I think it was, or August 27th, 28th. We played the Huns and beat them 6-2. Now, granted, that was at Celtic Park, but still, playing them in our 4th or 5th game of the season, we threw down that statement in August, and they never recovered from that.
Hey, Liam, you want to know something funny here?
What's that?
We start away at Hearts. Where did Rogers' first game for Celtic was? Away at Hearts. You've just mentioned Martin O'Neill, Rangers on the 28th of August. That's when we're playing them.
Yeah,
some symmetry there.
Aye, there's definitely some there's something to be said for that. And if we win both those games, we go a long way towards rebuilding.
Probably our 2 toughest away games that we can have in terms of the way the crowd gets on you and everything, if they're allowed, if there's going to be crowds in there. So just to finish off here, we got Rangers away on the 28th of August. Then we play them on the 2nd of January at home, and then we've got them again at Ibrox on the 2nd of April.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you guys want to add about the fixture?
Well, that 2nd of April game would be the 7th last game. So if we come out of that game 19 or more points ahead, then we win the league at Ibrox.
I was going to say the more important question is, will Rangers give us a guard of honour that day?
Yeah. If we win it in March.
And I'm waiting for the Twitter, bag out from those douches.
Yeah.
How about it, Huns? Anything that makes you more literate is not a bad thing.
Please remember to rate, review, and subscribe in between shagging your sister.
All right. So I mentioned just before about away games with crowds back there. So they're saying reduced capacity crowds are expected back for next season. Celtic put out a thing earlier in the week for season ticket holders to register for the games they want to attend, and a ballot will be done for tickets. I want to get your thoughts on that, boys, because to me, if you buy a season ticket, you're going to want to attend, right? Especially if you're not going for a year. So do you guys think it's ridiculous that they've then got to register for the games you want to attend? Or do you think all season ticket holders should be just put in the ballot?
I think is it not also to do with having like your households registered for like COVID things?
That would make sense.
Yeah, I don't know, like because as in you're allowed to spend 90 minutes sitting in a adjacent seat to someone you share a household with, that sort of thing.
That actually makes sense now. Okay, I retract my previous statement.
Yeah, I remember they did something similar last year when they had like earlier in the season when they thought things might wind down and it didn't. Yeah, otherwise you're right. I don't get why they would do it otherwise unless it was just a kind of fan survey. Because obviously everyone wants to go to the game. I mean, there's hardly going to be respondents go, oh yeah, I want to come to the game, but not if it's reduced capacity. I only want full crowds. Do you know what I mean? You're not going to get... Would there be anyone that would answer? I don't think so.
The other thing is that anybody who doesn't get to attend every game, because obviously we're assuming that we're not going to be at full capacity in August, people who, whatever games don't get to attend, they should get a retrospective discount on next season, reflective of that ticket price, or that portion of the season ticket price.
I've got a question for you. If there's a ballot being done, how's Paul the Tim going to be at every game?
Well, Paul the Tim will find a way. I mean, come on, that guy can't be killed by conventional weapons. We know what he's like. He always finds a way.
I'll tell you a story. There's a lad I know, Keith McAllister. He's a Queen's Park fan, and I can't remember how many years he had this streak. He's got this streak going of like 43 years, something like that. He's been to every Queen's Park game for like 43 years running. And then when COVID hit this year, his streak was going to get broken. So they quote unquote hired him to the Queen's Park media team. So just like, he's friends with people on the board and stuff, but they literally hired him to the media team so he could keep going to the games. So watch out for Paul the Tim on Celtic TV next year.
That might be enough to convince me to renew my subscription.
Can it be any worse than half the diddies they put on there?
Oh, God. I take it you heard about Jerry McCulloch making a right arse of himself last week.
I did, yeah, defending the BBC.
Jesus.
Get better, Christian Eriksen.
Aye.
Yeah.
Aye.
Also, as a general rule of thumb, don't defend the BBC.
No. And I hope Finland make it out of that group, even though I've bet Russia in that group. I hope Finland get out of it after the amazing show from their fans while Eriksen was getting his treatment.
Yep.
Belgium playing tonight? Is that?
Aye, right. Belgium playing Denmark tomorrow morning our time.
Tomorrow morning, right. Okay.
Well, what Lukaku said, 10th minute, they're kicking the ball out so the Danish fans can give Eriksen a round of applause while he's in hospital across the park from the stadium it's being played at.
Nice one.
That's good. Yeah, cool. And Ukraine are 0-0 with North Macedonia right now.
I've got Ukraine to win that group, so I'll need to get on that game. Can we hurry up here, boys? Come on.
All right. Score predictions, Scotland versus England. 2-1 for me.
To whom?
I haven't decided yet, but it's going to be 2-1.
1 each.
Okay, this does give me a chance to break out my Mr. T impression. You want to know my prediction? Pain.
I don't hate you, man.
No,
yeah.
I actually do think we could get a draw tomorrow. I'm going to go with Sean, and I think 1 each is a possibility, but I think we'll blow it against Croatia.
Where I said 2-1 before, it'll either be like 1 each, and it'll be real close, and then it'll be like an extra time winner for England, or it'll be 2 early goals from Scotland, parking the bus, concede 1, and somehow hanging on. It's not going to be. I don't think it'll be a very open game.
I certainly don't think it's going to be a 5-0 England that all the flag shaggers seem to think it will be. So, no, I think it'll be a competitive game, even if we don't get a result.
All right. So what we'll do, we'll wrap the podcast up for you, Liam, because you gave us a bit of a hurry up before. I was watching Jerry Springer short videos the other day, and I saw he always has at the end of it final thoughts, and he goes on a little speech. No discussions required. Just say a point, get on with it. And I'm like, Jerry Springer back in the day was the best for the punch-ons and all sorts of crazy stuff, and the security guard Steve and all this stuff. So I want to give it a bill. So what we'll do, Sean, you've written yours down on the run sheet. So do you want to give your final thought for the podcast?
Yes. There were Scotland football fans who were born and died without seeing Scotland play in a tournament. So we need to appreciate being there despite being disappointed by the Czech result.
Liam, you got a final thought?
Yep. Whatever happens tomorrow, just be proud that we're there. Because a lot of very, very good players in the last 23 years have not had the privilege that those boys are going to have tomorrow. And enjoy every second of it, because we don't know when it will come round again. But I'm confident it will not be another 23 years.
I thought you were going to say, no matter what happens, just be thankful you're not English, but,
Well, I mean, that goes without saying, but,
And my final thought is, can someone just please put a muzzle on Neil Lennon? He's embarrassing himself with his latest comments. It's just got to stop.
Aye. Neil, go and have yourself a well-deserved holiday, mate, and make sure you switch your phone off when you do.
All right.
For your sake and Celtics.
All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. Please join our Facebook group, like our page, find us on Instagram and Twitter at Celtic Down, website www.celticdownunder.com. Thanks, Liam and Sean, for jumping on this podcast. Hail, hail.
Hail, hail.